You've got good days and good moments in Smash, and then you've got the days that are a bit harder. And today's one of those because uh, it seems that, according to a post made by L Deep, who of course is the founder of Beyond the Summit, um, he made a post today outlining the future of the organization and the future of the events that hold. And I'm just gonna go through this with you guys. Um, BTS started 11 years ago with Dota, with two Dota commentators and a dream. Um, how quickly those 5 years have flown by. From our small corner of the gaming world, we've borne witness to the rise and fall of countless esports giants. The tapestry of our collective story is littered with the memories of so many of those companies and ambitions, the ones who burned brightly and promised the world, but most of which fizzled out all too quickly. BTS never took the VC approach. We had plenty of offers over the years, but as a grassroots organization born from the community, we valued remaining grassroots independent. There was never an opportunity that made sense for us, our people, and our community. Bootstrapping can make for a bumpy ride. In our first 6 years, I personally loaded the company money, and deferred my own wages just to make payroll more than a few times. As founders, we didn't even start drawing a living wage until a few years into the company's existence. When COVID hit, we had days where we were convinced that our time was up and we'd soon have to shut our doors. But somehow we always managed to find a path forward. Every setback was met with a solution. Our scrappy band of misfits always found a way. Despite being a tiny fish in a huge pond, BTS managed to remain independently owned and sustainable for over a decade. I am and will always be extremely proud of that fact. We struck midnight deals. We burned the candle at both ends, but most importantly, we had an incredible team that believed in everything we were doing and was willing to go the extra mile to make our events happen. We knew 2023 would be hard, but we've been through tough times before, so we had high hopes that we could withstand this recession. Over the last year, as economic conditions have worsened across the industry, we have been working hard to build a pipeline of business to weather the storm. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, things haven't broken our way. Throughout this time, our number one priority has been to ensure that our team doesn't get hung out to dry. We've been closely monitoring our financial situation, and over the last few years, we've reached an impasse. If we keep going and things don't improve, we could run the company into the ground and not be able to pay anyone anything. But if we let everyone go now, we can give them advance notice, a head start to figure out plans, and good severance offers. We don't want to leave our people out in the cold. We don't want them leaving with uncertainty, constantly wondering and worrying when the money will run out. We care about everyone who has helped build BTS. They've all given so much, and they deserve to know exactly what is happening and have the best possible chance to land on their feet. Based on our current financial outlook and how challenging the next year looks, we've decided it would be irresponsible to keep BTS Beyond the Summit going in its current structure. So after nearly 11 years in business, we've made the extremely difficult decision to let all of our people go. All of our full-time staff were notified in an all-hands meeting earlier today. We felt we owed it to the community, our friends, and our partners to share our story, but we would like to kindly ask that everyone give our people some time and space to process the news in their own way. To ease their transition, BTS will be keeping a full-time staff on payroll for the next 2 weeks. Everyone will be offered 2 week severance, plus additional severance based on their time with the company. We'll also be paying to continue healthcare coverage for our U.S. employees through the end of April. We've already started putting together a spreadsheet of our staff with their contact info, work experience, and links to the resume and cover letters. Once they review and sign off, we'll be publishing it so that any interested organizations can reach out directly. And if you click the publishing it link, you have, of course, all the names, discords, and, of course, all the talents of the people who are there. I feel like I know nearly every name here, or I've heard of them, and the work that they've done. It's jarring to see this many good, talented workers suddenly without a place to be hired. And sadly, it's not the first time this year that has happened in esports. I'm sure you could think of another org or orgs right now that have massive layoffs. Obviously, Panda comes to mind, or orgs are just disappeared. Every single worker deserves a good place to be, especially when you have that much dedication and commitment to esports. And basically, they say if you work for a production company, esports org, or any other group that is hiring, please share your openings so we can pass them along. We have a fantastic team that's accomplished incredible things with a fraction of the resources of larger companies. BTS is still planning to run Smash Ultimate 6 and complete all active contracts. We hope these projects can also serve as a bridge for some of our people as they figure out the next steps. What I'm wondering also if by active contracts, I'm not sure if that just means the active contracts within the next 2 weeks, or all the active ones throughout Melee Summit maybe. I have to double check what that means, but it seems that there will be, if I have my understanding, one last Ultimate Summit, and I think one last Melee Summit. But honestly, I can't really tell. To all of our partners we'll be reaching out to in the coming days, we appreciate your patience and understanding as we prioritize people first. Time was not on our side, and we couldn't in good conscience continue with our current structure knowing the potential risk to our people. So essentially, they chose to do this to not leave their staff high and dry, which is very respectable. Like, TLDR, had they kept running the operation, they could have gone into a situation where all of a sudden they had to just completely cut off payroll all at once, which is very sudden, and they didn't want their employees to go through that. We're open to exploring other paths forward, especially ones that allow us to do right by our staff. BTS is a beloved brand, a fantastic network of talented people who make cool shit, a state-of-the-art studio, professional gear, and plenty of openings in our production calendar. If you'd like to discuss opportunities, message David G at BeyondTheSummit.tv. And he goes on to thank every community he's been part of. Dota, Smash, CSGO, FGC, Rocket League, TFT, Valorant, all the players, staff, production assistants, operators, editors, stream mods, managers, tourney admins, bracket runners, brand sponsors, partners. There was a lot of people who were involved in this project. There was a lot of people and scenes that BTS became an integral mainstay of. From the early housing days of Dota and the BTS house to the middle years in our gaming mansion to the last 5 years in our 20,000 square foot studio space. Not to mention also main stage, right? And the events they ran that way. Yeah. So many people, obviously, like, you think of Ludwig's crew and a lot of others. So many people came from the BTS space and started there as their, initial landing spot, the initial platform to really have their dreams come true. I remember, seeing just how much people have grown from that very first summit I went to. My first summit was Summit 2 in the West Covina mansion, and where they are now is just incredible. And to me, a lot of it was because of Summit. This one's tough. I think very few people in the scene expected this. Like, we know that things happen. We know that change happens a lot in the scene. I mean, you look at last November to have any indication of our familiarity with that concept. But it's just like, a lot of the time, I think in the back of our minds, we would think, well, at least we have Summit, right? At least at the end of the day, we've got people like the ones running Summit, and so it's all good. But that's not always the case, So I won't dwell on it for too long, but anyone in the Smash space, if you've got an active seed running, if you've got a local there, or if you're working on a project that has the funding to do it, keep it close to you. Give it close to your heart. Every time, like, a massive, amazing thing for the community project, just it's announced that it goes under, or announced that it's ending, or that it's being blocked by something, or that the circumstances are making it impossible to run. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like a family member dying in a lot of ways. It's just like, you can't have a community without, like, the pillars of the community, the organizations that host these events, that celebrate the game, that allow these incredible competitions to happen. They are the backbone of the scene, And what Summit did correctly was, apart from making incredible content and showing the other side of players that everyone so wants to see so often, the funny side, the comical side, the personal side of them with skits, with events throughout the 4 day event that really showcase who the players are. They've also were the most successful by and far in the compendium concept. They created a new meta. Obviously, it had its own controversy, but not their fault. More so, it was just everyone being really competitive to try to raise the most money or votes to get their players in. But people only put in that much effort in doing it, or do crazy subathons, or go skydiving, or do the crazy things for the campaigns they did, because they knew Summit was worth it. No, tournament series can just willy-nilly come up with an invitational and say, hey, raise money for this. People are haphazard. But for Summit, they knew it was the real deal. And that's because Summit, LD and his entire team, they had the proper staff, they had the proper ideas and the proper carry-through of their concepts to make everyone aware that this was worth it. This was the real deal. This was where you want to be. And if you're a pro smasher, this was the dream, like the mecca. This is where you want to be to showcase your talents. So all I can say is thank you from the bottom of my heart to the entire Summit team. I was able to enjoy 13 out of the 14 Melee Summits so far is what I'm able to go to. And now, of course, I'm going to the last Ultimate Summit, which I was fortunate enough to be voted into. But every single time I'm there, it feels like everything that I've done up to that point was validated. It's like, damn, we made it. We're here. We're on a big stage that the community itself formed. Grassroots. No need for giant sponsors. There's nothing more I'd wish for now than some big, I don't know, some big organization to come and pick up Summit and help carry them back to fruition. That would be truly a blessing right now above everything else happening in the scene. I'm going to miss that event a lot. And the memories that I got from competing, winning the side events, the friends I made there, and just having a chance to be in that space, it's going to leave a massive hole in the community. And I'm not sure if anyone's going to be able to adequately fill it or replace it, given how good they were at what they did. It's saddening. And at this point, all I can do is hope for some good news. Let me know what your favorite memory of any summit was in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching, and thank you Beyond the Summit for the best tournament series any community or group of gamers could have ever asked for.